I'm Louise Frampton from Clinical Services Journal. I'm reporting live from IDSc. We're looking to get some thought leadership on the decontamination sector. So I'd like to welcome Chris Hill, who's the National Sales Manager for Getinge. If you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and how long have you been in the sector for now?
So I actually got into the decontamination world in 2005, so just over 17 years now. I came from a military background before. I joined as a service engineer back in the day, repairing decontamination equipment, and then I've just progressed through the company into the commercial side of it, and now I head up the sales division for infection control.
Right. So how has the decontamination sector changed in that time, do you think?
I think it's changed massively, to be honest with you. There's a lot of innovation coming through around automation and just the functionality of the machines and how they work. There's a lot more focus on quality and output, so the machines, and not just a case of sticking a load of instruments into a washer and hoping that it comes out clean. There's now a lot more structure in the way that we validate things. There's been some changes on the guidelines over the last 17 years as well, from the original HTMs through to CFPP, which sort of came and went quite quickly, to the HTM guidelines that we've got now. So there's some real progression on how decontamination is sort of pushing forwards and trying to get the best out of the equipment.
Right. And what do you think still needs to change? What needs to happen next to drive forward things like sustainability, safety aspects, and also training?
I think the key thing for us is sort of bringing awareness to decontamination. It's something that I know that a lot of my colleagues in various sectors and on social media are trying to push and drive forward to sort of bring decontamination more to the forefront. It's kind of always been sort of deemed as one of the poorer brothers or sisters, so an SSD would be sat down in a basement and people tend to forget about it, but it's ultimately the heart of the hospital. Without an SSD or without a decontamination unit, theatres doesn't exist. So I think people need to sort of take us a little bit more seriously when it comes to decon and understand that it's a really important industry and it needs investment.
So training and apprenticeships have been really high on the agenda in the conference today. So what advice would you give young people considering a career in decontamination?
Yeah, I think apprenticeships are brilliant. I mean, I did an apprenticeship before I joined the Air Force as an electrician, so I completely support apprenticeships. We've done a few apprenticeships over the years at Getinge as well. We've had a few starters that have come through. A couple of engineers who used to work for me, their sons have then come on board, so it's almost like second generation working for the company, which is great to see. And again, that's an investment from Getinge into education and the youth, and trying to bring newer people in. It's a conversation I've had with a few AEDs over the last couple of years, really, is trying to get fresh blood into the industry. A lot of people just want to move into IT. It's kind of seen like that's the route you'll take in this sort of era, but trying to get people and real engineers to get interested in decontamination does have its challenges, but there's some really good guys coming through at the moment.
That's good to hear. So if you could give SSDs one piece of advice, what would it be?
One piece of advice. I would say communicate as much as possible with suppliers, whether it be a preferred supplier or a number of suppliers. Engage with your AEDs and your APs and get a real understanding of what it is that you need to drive your decontamination unit. It's important to let people know that SSD managers, decon leads, you're not on your own. The whole idea is not just us to sell you things, it's for us to come along and support you and be a partner and help you develop your decontamination unit. So yeah, that's the advice I would give, is just talk to people and ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's a lot of experience in this room here where we are today, so if you ask, you'll learn. Simple as that. That's what I've done for the last nearly 20 years. So.
Fantastic. So we've talked a little bit about training and encouraging people into the sector. What about sustainability? That's another big topic at the conference today. What role should SSDs have in contributing to the net zero healthcare?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. I mean, we've got a carbon neutral goal at Getinge for 2025, right. So we're making some shifts in our own sort of little world, where getting people into electric vehicles, looking at how we do in recycling, again the whole sustainability element of it, even to the point where we're putting together handbooks to support people in decontamination. So we do a sustainability handbook which gives advice to decontamination managers on how they can sort of drive sustainability in their department. departments. But it's just simple things. I mean, there's a lot of waste that goes in and out of SSD, so I think it's important to make a note of where that waste is coming in and how you're getting rid of it. Your water utilities, how you're sourcing your electrics. Is solar power an option? How you're feeding? Are you going for electric power, steam power? Again, communicating with your supplier and the experts in the industry, everyone can give you advice on how to do it. And yeah, it can suck up a lot of resources and a lot of energy, decontamination units. So I think it's really important to make it as efficient as possible, really, that will help with the sustainability.
So how can people get hold of the handbook?
Yeah, the handbook's available on our website. So if you go into Getinge.com, there's a full section around sustainability, which gives information around the decontamination element of it, and also what we're looking to do at Getinge to get our goal of 2025 carbon neutral.
Excellent. So we've talked about sustainability. What about in terms of digital technologies, including AI, machine learning? How can technology shape the work that SSDs do?
I mean, yeah, technology is a huge part of it, and we try and be as innovative as possible to try and bring out new things. We have a function, Getting Online, which we have on all our equipment at the moment, and we're currently trying to develop that with an AI functionality to it as well. So not only will it tell you what the machine is doing, but it almost learns, so it sees patterns. For example, in vac pumps, if it sees it's dropping down, it'll learn that it's dropping down and potentially give you an alarm to say you might want to look at changing your vac pump in the future. So that's just one piece of it. I think the whole drive forwards with any kinds of innovation, automation, the stuff that the guys are doing with robotics, that's going to be a massive leap forwards. We're already seeing a lot more robotics in hospitals, and we're supporting that by being able to decontaminate it. And I've had some really good chats with a couple of the guys here over the last couple of days about how we can work with them to process those instruments and get them right.
I think that's a really important issue, because there's been a lot of discussions early on in robotics when it first emerged.
Well, it kind of came to the market, didn't it? And everyone's like, that's great, it's wonderful, but how do we clean it? And again, it's just bringing that forward thinking about decontamination, and it is really important that we get that piece right. And we're getting there now, and we're speaking to these guys before they're bringing out new intuitive ways of doing things. And
that communication is really important.
Yeah, it's really, really important, and it's not just from decontamination staff. It's getting their involvement, obviously, but it's us talking between us as manufacturers to make sure we're all on the same page, and then of course getting the standards and guidelines to then fit in with that, so they all matches together.
So what other innovation is on the horizon, do you think, that could be really transformative in this sector?
I think automation. I think it's something we've talked about for a long, long time. There's lots of companies that are doing automation. We're driving automation as hard as we can as well when it comes to robotics, auto-loading systems and things like that. And I think going forwards, you will see more and more automation, even from dosing and flushing systems that we see in manual cleaning. The manual clean element is slowly starting to move away, and I know there's a lot of hot discussion around potentially dropping manual cleaning from the industry side of it, probably more in the States. I can't see it coming through in the UK. But again, it's just that drive towards automation and sort of removing that the human factor of doing things wrong.
Okay. And what about at IDSc today? What are you highlighting? What can people see on your stand
Yeah,
today?
so I mean, the two main things for us, well, the first main thing for us is the new ED Flow. So the ED Flow has been in the market now for sort of 12 years. It's had various refreshes across the time, but this is sort of a major aesthetic refresh. We've included Getting Online, which I talked about before. That's now included in the new ED Flow. Some aesthetic feature changes, a move to stainless steel. We've done a lot of quality upgrades as well internally to the valve systems, some of the pumps. The software has all been updated as well. So it's a real step forward for us with a new piece of equipment. We're also driving our consumable range as well, so we've got a full team of consumables people, which I think I spoke about in one of the CSJ journals this year. It's really important for us to offer a complete solution to the decontamination staff and make sure that they know that they can come to Getinge if they want anything to do with decon.
Fantastic. Well, lots of really interesting innovation there and some great thought leadership. It's really interesting to hear your views. So I really appreciate you giving up your time today.
No, thank you very much, Louise. Good to speak to you.
Thank you.